Yeah, it says we're live. Can you see? It should
Yeah.
be now.
That's cool.
I think it is. I think it is actually. Yep.
And also, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
finally.
can see you.
what
Perfect.
what a hustle always.
Let me see if I can hear myself.
Yeah, I have just shared the screen
Yeah,
and
sounds
everything.
good. Sounds perfect. So you can see me. Also, you can see
Yeah, also the
the presentation and everything, right?
yeah. Can
Yeah,
you talk?
yeah,
It's a
everything
little.
looks fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're
Yeah.
good.
Uh,
I don't know what changed. This
uh,
always like a problem. I don't know, but it's always a different one. Like I don't get
yeah.
it. I don't get it. Okay.
This is a new challenge every day, but that's good. I mean, no, no worries. So
Okay. Let's do it.
let's try to do this as quickly as possible. So thank you very much for being here uh, in another movie club. This week we saw Tully by Jason Reitman. Um, First of all, as you can see, right now Luisito is not with us. He had some uh, any other responsibilities, so yeah, he's going to be with us the next week. Um, okay, so just to confirm, you can see the presentation, right?
Yeah, it's all good. I can hear you, see you, everything.
Perfect.
And
Then
I'm
so
monitoring the presentation, so don't worry. I have like
okay,
a second screen here.
perfect then.
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about this movie.
Sure.
Just like a brief resume about it. Tully is a really recent movie from 2018. As I said, is directed by Jason Reitman. And of course, in this movie, we follows this story of Marlo, who is a mother of three. And I mean, two, and in the beginning of the movie, we can see that she's pregnant and she's almost uh, getting birth, I guess. So yeah, to the newborn, and yeah, we follow her life through all these uh, difficulties and issues that are related to being a mom. So it more or less is about that. The whole movie is a really interesting one, and of course, through the whole movie, we can see uh, how Marlowe is getting some help from Tully, who is a nanny, a night nanny, who help her to to take care of the newborn and of course with her life. So more or less is that, and the main ideas of this movie are the identity, the mental health, and the struggles of the motherhood. To be honest, so yeah, more or less is about that. Just like a brief resume. And just a little bit about the director. It's the second movie that I see of this guy, who is Jason Reitman. This guy is a Canadian American guy from Montreal.
Okay.
And the other movie that I saw from him was Juno. Actually, we saw this movie last year on the last season of the movie club. And it's a really interesting one. And as I mean, if you noticed, the topics of that movie, Juno, and this one are related in some way. So yeah, it's a way that he works with identity, the personal failure, and the emotional. I mean, we can see here resilience, but the emotional aspect of being a mother and relating with the others. So yeah, it's a work that I really enjoy. It's a good one. It's not that deep, so you can enjoy those pictures, but at the same time, he delivers a deep message. So I like it. I like that way. Um, so yeah, about the first impressions. first of all, we can see all these problems and issues of being a mom. And if you ask me, probably it's not about how difficult it is to being a mom, but how difficult it is in our context, in our modern context. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Being a mom is not always easy, we know, but it shouldn't be that difficult. Or what do you think? I mean, is any other way to do it? Or all women who wants kids are doomed and needs to follow that path of difficulties? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that's quite the point. I think what I saw most relevant is like, yeah, motherhood is like a burden that you need to carry in a way. But in a moment, the Marlowe character says, I don't want to outsource like my problems. And I think that's precisely the point. But there's like different paths, and it's mainly about resources. But it's like you cannot be completely with your children, I think, and also have like a job and also have to pay the bills and go to the school, and you cannot do that because there's not enough time, energy, whatever. And so that's why the character comes and helps and shows that it doesn't need to be like this suffocating all the time, but I didn't saw like what you were saying, but it's true. Like the problem is the way the society functions in a way, like all these institutions and this pressure of the time and the routine and wherever. That is true. And also that yeah, in older times, like mothers had like this veil or of people that gave a support, like the grandmas and whatever, old ladies that knew how to do it. But to be completely alone in that way, it's pretty hard, I think. But it's just a way. Yeah, it's how to put it, like that way that to outsource or to not give that way. But in the same time, I suppose it's like I want to have it all. I want to have it all and to do all this, but maybe that's conditioned, like conditioning in the society or whatever. But we also see other characters like the brother, that he's like wealthier and doesn't have like the same concerns, and he's like, don't worry about that, just give it to a nanny and whatever, and you will enjoy it. But they are more detached in a way to their relationships, and so it's like, oh, how do you balance that? It's quite hard. And I think in one moment of the movie they achieve this sort of balance, and we start to see like the thriving of the Marlowe character and the whole family. Like the little girl also is like, oh mom, you're actually cooking or whatever. And so it's like, yeah, it's just time and pressure, but I don't think it should be like this stressful. Like I don't know why so many movies have like this rhythm, like just constant stress to show, but it's really hard to. I don't know if that's the only way. I don't know, but I remember the like the Tree of Life, like the one we saw. That mother was not in the role of the provider, and so she was in the home. You see, like all the time, and she was able to give the love and all. But maybe that's the point. Like you cannot do that and have a job all the time. You need that provider support, or you need something else, because otherwise it's just crunch time for years. And so I think
it's too much to handle everything together, right?
And also how, I mean, you are doing all this, as this is the problem I see. You are doing all this, but your head is like completely full. Like you need to empty like the cache memory in order to properly function. Otherwise, the kids will grow up and they will say, well, my mother was there, but was always stressed and barely there. And so it's also
it was there, but physical, in the physical way, but no in the mental aspect, right?
It's overcooked, and it's overclocked all the time. And so yeah, that's what I see mostly. It's like a manage of resources and time, and it's so hard. I don't know. And and if you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
it's
those extra of resources, well, that's crunch time. But it's also like, oof, 3 kids. It's more than for that period, and I don't know, quite hard. But I do see that there
absolutely.
is a like a path or a better way, in the sense
Mhm.
that, and mostly that, like, the most important is to have that quality time, not just to punish yourself. I think that's what I see
Yeah.
mostly. What do you think about?
Okay. No, absolutely. I like it and I agree. Actually, yeah, I have here in my notes that the problem is not about being a mom. I mean, that's not the thing, or about how you raise your kids. Is the wrong distribution of these duties that make it hard. I mean, of course, in this example, we have the 3 kids, and one of them is like a little bit twisted. So it's an extra difficulty there, right?
Yeah,
But for me, the wrong distribution of those what's the word, duties,
duties. Yeah,
it's the main problem. Of course, they had this money problem, and they were a little bit struggle with that. Uh, but the dad has had no interest in accomplish any other role but the provider one.
yeah,
So for me, it's one of the problems, not the main problem, I guess. I'm not sure, but it's a big one. And that led me to that Tully, the nanny,
yeah,
is, I mean, it's a great relief, uh, but just because she helps, not because she's something special. She's not superwoman or whatever. She's just there doing what he must do. So so for me, that role of Tully um, is is more about how should be this distribution
yeah.
of the tasks that you need to do as a parent. I mean, that's like my first impression. Um, Let me see what is the next thing. Okay, let me finish with that. That's
Yeah.
the first, and the second. All of this is surrounded by a context of uh, like everyone is making some judging the Marlowe
Yeah, yeah,
about everything, about how he raised this kid, the twisted one. I forgot his name.
yeah. Like the one in the
But
middle.
the people here is not twisted. Just he's like an autistic
Yeah,
or
he's
something
like in
like
the
that. They are not
autistic
sure.
spectrum, I think. More a bit in
Yeah,
the extreme side. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a little bit weird, the kid, and so it's more difficult to handle him. Um, so yeah, everyone is like judging and asking her questions, and when she wants to have a little bit of peace or a breakfast or something there in the cafeteria, I don't know if you remember that
Yeah, yeah.
she's asking for a cupcake or something. Someone, a random woman, just like, hey, do you know that something on that cake is bad for you or whatever? And he's like, dude, she's trying to do her best, and she doesn't want a cupcake, so you don't have any reason to judge her or do that kind of comments. So for me, it's of course those issues of having those kids, that kind of kids, and that economical problem or struggle,
Yeah.
but also the context do not help you. For example, the brother, he tries to help in his way, that using the money that is something that he has,
Sure.
but it's not someone that helps in the emotional aspect. I mean, it's not there to um,
Yeah,
put
he's not in the
his
home,
fist
like
there.
hey, what do you need? Let me
Yeah.
help you. Yeah, it's like he's a bit of an asshole in a way, but I
Yeah,
mean,
they say that.
you know what?
No, no,
The thing that
I
I
agree.
see is that everyone is like blinded by their own experience all the time. And so they just share
Mhm.
their experience. And if you are a bit out or in a different way of that experience, it's like a shock to them. And to the other person is, I don't need to explain to you my conditions or my circumstances. So why are you
Yeah,
bothering me so much if you're not helping in this way? Yeah, all the characters like are kind of strange. I don't
absolutely.
know if that's like just the culture in America. I don't know if it's just like this
Yeah, it
striving.
tastes like it. It
I
tastes
suppose
like
it's
an American thing.
we need to, let me search like in what state or something was that movie.
They were in New York actually,
Yeah,
if I remember well. Yeah, yeah. Look for it, please. But as far as I remember, they were in New
yeah,
York.
New
But
York
oh,
it
okay,
seems.
let me follow that idea
Yeah,
because uh, this I'm not sure it's just a thought. I'm not sure if it's in the same level or related
yeah, yeah.
or mix it with, but this thing about that everyone else is having an opinion about my life and they want to share their point of view so they can help or know with my
Hmm.
life is like related with at the same time that they compare themselves with the brother that
Yeah.
he has more money than us, so uh, we don't feel really attached to him because yeah, he's an asshole. But I mean, it's kind of weird in that way because everyone is making an opinion and wants to interfere in their lives, but at the same time, they feel um, uh, not sure if they feel less or overcome by the brother
Yeah.
in a certain way. So I'm not sure if those are related in this American way to do things. But yeah, I have it there on my mind about yeah,
Yeah, it could be there.
how is
Like I see
uh
like the, I don't know, like the imbalance in a way of the dynamic, and
huh
for Marlo and the his husband and that they grow like a sort of envy or resentment to those conditions in a way, and the brother is like has like a pity for her sister, but it's also like, I just want you to be at my level, like all the time he's like,
yeah
just be at my level.
yeah
I don't
yeah
want to go down to you and drag you all the way. I just want to be pleased with you. And so that makes like an imbalance in a way of how do you communicate or how do you share your life with somebody. But I don't know if that's the American way, and if it is, it's quite lonely. Like even if you have like too much people around you, it's like, what
uh-huh.
why are you judging me all the time here and there? And just, I don't know, to me if I was in like in that position, it's like, oh, I just want to go away, like to the mountains,
Yeah, absolutely.
just don't bother
Oh
me
yeah,
anymore.
absolutely.
And I have like just
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
notes, and it's like the same topic. It's just we'll be back to the motherhood. I know, but you remember
Yes.
when she's with with the school principal, and that school principal is saying
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, your kid is like, he's amazing, but you need to take it other way. And I just saw like
Yeah, absolutely.
the fakeness in that whole conversation. And it's like,
Uh-huh.
how do I put it, the yeah, the structure of the society and the institutions that don't say anything in a direct way. Like they hide
Yeah.
behind like a facade or a happy way, but it's actually quite incisive or harmful. Like, and it's like, just say it in a direct way and I'll do it. But it's, I don't know, that's strange. Like all the characters were kind of like hide behind certain masks, and others were just completely I don't know, it's just strange
Uh-huh.
people. But that's when the Tully character comes in. And it's like, I mean, she's kind of weird also in a certain way,
Mhm.
but it's the first one that kind of shares like the burden or just helps in a direct way. And I don't know, it's what do you think about this character or the whole dynamic or what happens there?
I believe that probably something obvious, but they use these kind of interactions
Yeah,
in the school, as you said, uh, to show us how, in some aspects, we are very, um, we're trying to be too careful to not harm the other,
yeah,
so we do not say what should be said, like the truth, like in a direct way or something. I mean, I'm not sure how to say it in English, but the crystal generation or something like that. I
okay,
mean, it's like a way to show us how, in a certain point, that kindness or that way to approach with the others, not being aggressive or whatever, it do not help you to reach any point or whatever, you know.
mm-hmm.
So I totally agree that when Tully came to that home, it was a relief, of course, for her work, but also because she's honest and she looks like that she is has no like filter or anything. She
Yeah,
just said what she thought. So that's great. I mean, probably something in the middle between those could be perfect, because we know that we are not always allowed to speak freely everything, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I believe that it's more about that, about talking about this crystal generation, you know. So I really like that thing. So let me return to the motherhood,
sure, sure.
because it is the main idea of this movie, of course, uh, but also is related to their roles. I mean, we already talked about how difficult it is to have these three children and this strength one and everything. But the main issues of that is that this guy, the father, is not always there. He's he is this provider, but um, he's not getting involved enough raising those
Yeah,
kids.
no,
He's
not
not
at
there
all.
the whole day, and of course we can see him, and we know that he helps with the homework and that the school project and everything.
Yeah,
But at the end, he's as we can see here in the picture, he just finished that, and okay, I will play video games for a few hours and go to sleep and repeat the cycle, you know?
yeah.
So it's about the it's a cultural thing, or is this role related in a biological way to us as men, or what do you think about it?
Oh, like I just saw like interesting, like it's the context and the culture. It is, and also the environment,
Mm-hmm.
like completely. Like if that father was like in the country or in the field, it would be different, like the
Mm-hmm.
dynamic, and not just to take the kids to school and this like manufactured way of living, like in a big city. And I think that big city doesn't provide enough instances to raise the children in a way that it's involving to the world. Like it's not like to rise in the morning and to just go like in a walk, like you're in a forest and you go in a walk and you can talk for hours and hours or something, or you have a
Yeah.
certain chore or activity that you had to do with your kids, like, and it's not just to go to the supermarket, like something more interesting that has
Yeah.
higher stakes or involvement in a way. Like I was reading this book, it's pretty good. It's called The Crossing. It's by an author called Cormac McCarthy, and it's about these two
Mm,
brothers that go and hunt. I mean, it's like a Western book and whatever, but
okay.
it's like this dynamic. Like the kids are with the fathers and all, but they also need like to be in the world in a way. And I think that just to do the homework and to eat and to be, it's not engrossing enough. And so the father just goes his
Yeah.
own way to add more thrilling activity, even though it's like digital, like I think he's playing like Years of
Hmm.
War, right? Or what was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Years. And
And the
Years
first
gives
one
you
actually. Yeah.
like that thrive of a mission or an accomplishment higher than just the
Okay.
corporate thing. And I think that's like we're just like NPCs in life, like filling certain boxes, but we're not
Yes.
thriving or living in that environment that it's more natural. But it's environment and it's the culture. And so if you find the culture that it's quite restrictive, and all the people are just all the time judging, and but it's so in like confined in a certain way, it's really hard to do it.
Hmm.
But nevertheless, you cannot just say, well, let's blame the society. No, the father needs to be more involved, like that there's nothing else to do. Like maybe just play, if you want to play a different game with your kid, like I don't know if he likes
Yeah.
horses or whatever, and you find a game with horses and you play your time, and you're also with the kid and whatever, like some activities to share. I mean, not always, but
Okay.
more time. I think it's more interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I agree. From a perspective, he's totally like on tie of these responsibilities of being a father. As you said, it's not enough to have these duties of the homework and the school things.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, it's an aspect, but for me, being a father is, yeah, raising your kids, having another kind of teachings. The example that you said of the woods, I love it because for me, could be perfect, like a perfect description of how it could be. We know that, of course, the context,
Sure, sure.
our society is different and we live for a different purpose, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, having that on mind, how can we change our circumstances to explore another way of being a father? The fatherhood should be more active um, and more sensitive. I mean, for example, why Marlowe or Tully
Yeah.
were the ones who baked those cupcakes.
Yeah.
This guy could be the one who had the idea and trying to do it and get involved in a different aspect,
Mhm.
uh, like different responsibilities.
Sure.
We know that he has. I mean, there is a different biological difference because he needs to uh, amamentar. I don't know how to say it.
Oh, like
Get
breastfeed.
breast,
Yeah, like breastfeed
breast
something.
the newborn. We know that, but we need to take part on the rest of the activities. So, and as I said, a more sensitive thing. We can see as in the last image,
Yeah.
the family um, image. That scene is when this guy, the little one who is autistic or weird or twisted or whatever,
Hmm.
he said like, "Hey, why we are doing this?" I mean, for the people, is like they have this kind of tactic where they brush his entire body
Yeah.
with brush. and the whole idea of that was that as he's sensitive, he can get used to the other kinds of stimulations and get a little bit normal.
Yeah.
But at the end, he said like, "Hey, well, and why we are doing?" And he suggests that they can do it without the birth. It's like a call for attention. Like, hey, you can being nice with me and having this
Like those moments like
contact.
together.
Those kind of moments. They are hugging there. I mean, I believe that it's the only hug that they have in the entire movie.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I mean, the motherhood is one thing. That's why I choose this like timeline. The motherhood is one thing, but should be attached to another kind of role and more responsibility from us as males. And at the end, we have another kind of family, more sensitive and yeah, like better, nicer. I don't know.
Sure.
It's not about just having the kid and get sure that he survives until he has 18 and can do his own stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's something different. Let me change just so you have another kind of pictures.
Yeah, I think this is like a good moment to share like Luisito's point of view, because I think it's
sure.
like in a way, like let me just read it. He's not with us today, but he shared with us like his thoughts or his opinion in this way. And he says in this movie, we can see several stereotypes related to women and men's roles. For example, the historical responsibility of women to be in charge of the household chores and raising children, also like the beauty standards and the provision of women to have sex with other men, compared to the opposite by men who can focus just on the work, are less afraid of their physical appearance, and can have sex with several women. In this context, Marlon feels relieved when she meets Tully. And this Tully shares or shows Marlon the importance to have self-care and to see like the bright sides of the motherhood, just like another stage of life in which daily routine and family time can be in balance with personal activities and self-care. So I think it's kind of in the middle of what we were saying, like not just to be like in the role, but more in balance or more at present, I think. And he says, despite Tully didn't really criticize the passive role of the father, the movie suggests that men should also participate in household chores and the raising of children in order to keep a balance between the parent tasks and responsibilities. I totally agree with this, as I think that both parents should be actively participating in this task as a team. He says, on the other hand, it's important to provide the proper education and care for people with different abilities. He's referring to the little kid that has maybe autism, understanding that they are not abnormal, but human beings with different skills and needs. In conclusion, we all need help and care, so it's necessary to build a more equality or inclusive society where tasks, responsibilities, and rights are shared in an equitative way, and people with different abilities are included and taken into account. That's what Luis is saying to us in this, and I think it relates to what we are discussing in the regard to the institutions and the chores and just the roles to not be passive or NPCs in that way. What do you think? I think it's very accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with most of that Luisito said. We could use his notes to make the summary of the movie. Actually, it was pretty good. So yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I'm thinking that, as you said, it's our context. I mean, we live in a big city, in Mexico City.
Yeah.
We have these kind of jobs that in a certain way is too similar to the one that this guy has, right? Maybe not in an office or maybe not in the same issues, but looks like it's not important at the end. I mean, at least for me, it's hard to see that my work has another impact in the life of people. So
like the repercussion.
That it's not the best context to have a family. But okay, let me ask you first: do you want a family? I mean, it's something that you have in your mind, and if the answer is yes, how can you, or do you think about how can you manage these things about roles and about the context that we know is difficult, and how do you want to raise your kids?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a problem for me, at least. It's something that I want to think about deeply, and I'm not sure if I have an answer yet. But yeah, I mean, let me hear you first.
Well, maybe a few years ago I wasn't like that excited. Like, you have like this, and our generation, it's not like the most wealthy of the history, and to have like a home or like a good job that pays everything. Wow, that's so hard. We're not like in the boomer era, like like this TV show like Mad Men. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like this guy that works in a like publicity and works all day, gets home, has a family, and he pays for everything, and the mother is just at home raising the children. We don't have that anymore. It's almost impossible to have it. And so your couple needs to have like a certain way to balance that way. And so that's like the first imbalance or balance in a way. But what I see like most important is like to have like a sort of energy or mindset. Like there must be somebody, it's mostly like the father, that needs to solve things, like to have this mind that has a problem and solves it, and it's like, okay, we have this and this and this. Not the provider provider, but also like somebody that is relatable, or that is resourceful in this way and can achieve things. And you also need somebody that has like the emotional side. So, and that way you feel like a person, you make it whole, and you have like this sort of energy balanced. That's the way I see it. And I still think that I don't have that complete energy right now. Like I still need like a better job. I still need like just a better mindset in a way. But I think I saw how can I achieve it, but it's so hard, and the world doesn't give you like the tools or whatever, or it's you cannot find this anywhere. I don't know where people like just go and see like these models, because we don't have good role models. Like this movie is not a good role model in a way. It's like you need to. Oh, there's like a mosquito. Let me just
yeah, sure.
Because
it's funny because I cannot see you, so
yeah. No,
just imagine
this past week I just been bitten by mosquitoes all night, all night, and yeah, I don't know.
Watch out for the dengue.
Yeah, no, it's dangerous. And
yes.
No, that's what I think. We don't have good role models, and we don't have good conditions, and so that's not like the best point to have children, and that's obvious of why so many people don't want that, because we don't have like like these transitions to adulthood, like in old times, that you need to go and do a certain way and you transition. We don't have transitions, and so we can just stay in a safer or in a childish way of living, and so to give that step, it's quite hard. I don't know.
But also at the same time, we have this kind of people. I'm thinking about Elon Musk,
Sure,
that says, "Hey, the birth rate is going down. You need to have more kids, but hey, you don't give us enough work with a good salary and a good
Sure,
context
sure.
and a purpose to have kids, you
No,
know.
and
So yeah, I absolutely
the other
agree
day I
that
saw like
is
this news, or I don't know if it's fake. It sounds so fake, but I think it's real. And it says like Elon
okay.
Musk and other people want like 120-hour work week, like just nonstop. And it's
What?
like, what? You're just like, come on. How do you manage that? It's impossible. Like it's
No,
impossible.
no, it's
It's
impossible.
impossible. And and
And,
and
and again, sorry, and again, we can see it here in the movie.
yeah,
Imagine that comes true. What happened with Marlon? Marlon in the movie
yeah,
could have a work as this guy, and at the end of the day, he will have another 8 hours of work looking for the children, and the night also is going to be used to take care of the newborn.
yeah.
So at the end, of course, the general context is bad, but the motherhood or women have more issues for this again.
Sure.
Um, uh, I forgot. So yeah, for the distribution of these duties, I mean, I believe that is um, sexualism. No. Um, let me think about the one. But yeah, I think that is something social, not biological. I
Yeah.
think that's the
Yes.
first thing. It could be different. I mean, I believe I want to have a better context before having kids. Uh, in the work aspect, in the academic aspect,
Sure.
and whatever.
Just to
But
be a
also, I
more
believe,
complete person, like more complete in a
yeah,
way, or thriving, you know, or to have
yeah. How,
something
how
to
can I
share, or
how can I help to raise someone new
yeah, sure.
if I'm not yeah, completely sure about who I am, and if I'm not complete in myself, you know,
Hmm.
or not complete as something um, finished, you know, because in life
No,
we are
sure, sure.
always learning new things and growing up and whatever. But better. I mean, in a better situation. So for me right now, it's impossible to have kids because I don't have that context. So so yeah, that's more or less the thing. And uh, um, sorry, I forgot. So for me, even if I have the personal context, emotional, intellectual, economical way, like in a good way, all of those aspects, and I have a good partner to have kids,
Yeah.
even with that, I believe that the urban context is not always the same. It gives you like a bunch of experiences and new ways to see life because there's a bunch of new people, different context, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I believe that for having a better life, at least the first 10 years of my kids could be better being, I'm not sure if they're in the middle of the wood, something like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I believe that that's the best way I can look for them, at least right now. So of course I'm not sure what will happen in the future, you know. But yeah, for me the context, as we can see in the movie, is not the best, but because they live in that logic of produce more and do more and in the Elon Musk logic, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So for me is that of course I want kids, and I want to do everything that is in my hand to have those. But of course I'm not going to uh, make a suicidal move and have my kids right now and let's find out how can I solve the problem, you know.
Sure.
So yeah, it's with time. That is something that is so. It was like a sort of surprise in this movie because the newborn wasn't planned. If I'm right, for Marlowe.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say like, hey, we know that this other kid had problems and we are not sure if we can pay for everything and whatever. And at the end, they decide to have it. So it's brave. It's a brave decision.
Yeah. But it's interesting, right? Like even though they have two kids before, like it's always like something new, like or a new challenge. And I don't think if you
Yeah.
have eight, like even if you have your 10th kid, it would be like such a difficult thing, like all the time. I mean, obviously the first one, I think it's the one that shakes like the ground. But
Mm-hmm.
well, I don't think it's something that you get like used to. Like, I don't think it is. And yeah, let's. What do you think about the whole story, or what happened at the end with in this movie? Like, he was like an hallucination. Or what do you say? Oop, I think I lost you. Yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Mariana. Mariana. I think he was using his internet connection. Like, come on. Okay, let's just keep the show going. And just let me see my notes. Like, I think I have covered mostly everything. Yeah, yeah, just something interesting, more in the way of how movies are made and the whole structure. Like all the time, I was thinking that something bad is going to happen in a way, and it's like I don't know why. Like we have like this sort of conditioning by media that there must be like a cliffhanger and there must be like this such a powerful moment in the movie, and it's like a but not really. I don't think that should be it. And I think this movie kind of goes downhill in that third act because all of the stuff that we are saying is like in the first and second act, and it's richer. It's pretty good actually. But this third period of the movie or third act kind of downgrades because I don't know. It's like a I don't know. It's not quite the best, but yeah. Uh, I don't know what else can I say. I think it's just what I find interesting about this movie, or what I find most compelling, is this idea of to breathe, to not be just cluttered in our minds all the time by tasks and by duties and by doing this and that, but to find a balance and to find like a way to breathe and to see like the just the kids all the time and or most of the time and to be present in the work and to be present in your home. And I think that's like the lesson I find. I don't quite understand why Tully was like this younger version. And I think that's a bit silly. Like if they should go in this full real way, you just show this is just a person, and this person gives you all these insights. I think it's more important to share like this project. And yeah, I think Mariano, it's maybe not coming back, but I think we have covered quite a few topics. Maybe we could improve it a little bit, like uh, in a next session. But for the most part, I think that's it. Just to keep in mind this idea of the roles and to keep in mind this idea of the responsibilities. I think he's coming back. Yeah, I think he's coming back. I don't know what I said in this intermission, if I'm being honest, but hope it wasn't just pointless.
Hello.
Yo, yo,
Yo, yo, yo. What happened, my friend?
what happened? Was your connection or what?
Yeah, it was my internet connection. Not sure what happened. Are we still online?
Yeah, I'm still online. I don't know. I was just rambling. I don't know what I said. Like in those
Yes.
moments, like I started to talk about like the structure a little bit, and I was just
Okay.
saying that I find it interesting that don't you feel like in a moment of the movie, it's like there's going to be like this a big twist or big moment, and all the time
Yeah.
you have like this pressure of maybe the Tully is bad or whatever. And I was just saying that it's kind of a conditioning by the media or the stories to have like this more interesting or to change the narrative. And it's like this movie doesn't do that, and it's kind of interesting, but it goes like in a different direction, like with the doppelganger or schizophrenic kind of moment, you know. And it's kind of weird. I don't think
Yes.
that was like the best decision. I think that if they kept the movie real and just another person and to share, like all the topics that we are discussing are from the first and second act. You know, the third act, it's like I don't know, it doesn't adds more to the
No.
story. I think it
It's just like
downgrades.
the plot, right?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. But
okay.
yeah, that was
Uh,
mostly the whole in the direct. You can keep going.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect then. I'm not sure what happened. Sorry for that. Uh, I agree. I believe there is obvious an hallucination.
Yeah.
And of course, it can happen. It can happen. Um, I have a friend. I love her very much,
Yeah.
and she used to have really long periods of work
Yeah.
where she didn't sleep enough,
Oh,
and she once said like she was having hallucinations and she was like out of place. So yeah, I know that this can happen. It's not just a narrative resource for the movie. So yeah, it's something real, and I really enjoy to have this kind of things in the movie. I mean, it's curious and it's a plot twist. Uh, but yeah, I believe that is good and I enjoy it
yeah.
here in the movie because actually I had some questions about the sexual interaction they had with the husband. And also, I believe, and I'm asking you
Yeah.
if there are or was sexual um, uh, like a sexual tension between Tully and Marlon. At the beginning, I was thinking that there was something, but I mean, of course, at the end, it's just an hallucination. So
Yeah, yeah.
so it didn't happen.
No.
So yeah,
There
more
was like
is that
like electricity, you know, like a polarity in there.
something. There was
Yeah, yeah,
something.
for sure.
Let me uh, yeah, the final comments just to finish because
Sure.
we already are
Yeah, we're
on
almost
time.
at the hour. Yeah.
I have here my notes. I have
Sure.
1% of battery, so let's try to do it quickly because I have my internet from my phone.
Oh yeah,
So
sure. Go
that's
ahead, go
another
ahead.
problem.
Mhm.
So it's a comment about Tully. Tully said that having a home and this kind of boring life, this cycle that it repeats once every day,
Yeah.
Preparing the food for the kids, leave them to the school, and blah blah blah. The whole story about having kids. Like, yeah, it's a boring cycle, yes, in a kind way, but it's also a gratification for you, for the parents.
Sure.
So let me ask you first, how is a home built, which is different from just that building where you stay?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if in English is there's a different word. I mean, in Spanish we have casa and
Like hogar.
hogar.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if there's any other word to say hogar in English, but how is built this home, this hogar for you? That's the first one. Just to finish, and the second one is at the end, what is the objective to having a family?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't want to give you any kind of answer. Let me know those about a home and about having a family.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's like this biological way, and just you need to have offspring and kids, and that's all like in your DNA, in your cycle, in your mind, and the home is just the way it's structured right now in a society, and you need to keep your kid going and whatever. But I don't think that's what we do now. Like we're not in that survivalist mode anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
so we need to find the meaning to find a home. And I think that's why it's so hard in this nihilistic society that we are having. Because if we don't have gods, if we don't have like a purpose, whatever, what is a family if not a struggle? Or what is a family if not a burden without like an outcome?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, you can have this gratification one day, 2 days a week, but it's 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, or 20 years, or whatever. And it's like, how do you manage that if you don't have like an endpoint or an idea? Maybe for some people it's just like the way they found, like, I had a father and I had a mother, and so I now need to do it myself because that was the way. That's like a path, like just to keep the tradition. But maybe there's also like the other, to say, uh, not only I want a continuation of myself, there is like a sort of legacy to follow, and there is like a sort of,
Absolutely.
you know to experience the world. And so if you grant a life, you need to give that life the ability to understand the world in the best possible way, or how to thrive in that world. And just life is like the end point,
Mm-hmm.
like life in its full capacity. And but we need to understand life, how meaningful it is, in order to give that like gift. Like birth is like a gift. To others it may seem like the worst way, like, why do you want to be born in this awful world? But it's like, yeah, you have those two sides. But if you find yourself in the side that thinks life has a sort of meaning just because it is
Mm-hmm.
life, then you can give so much meaning, or much more direction to that kid. That's the way I see it. To just a continuation, and to be able to have a kid that can witness the sky, and that can witness
Yeah.
everything, like just a horse or whatever. And
Yeah. As
so
you said,
yeah,
life,
sure,
to
sure.
witness life.
I mean, you don't need to explain more. It's silly to just try, because you cannot reach something more, I think. But what was the other? What was the home? I don't know. Just to
Yeah.
be safe sometimes would be it, and to uh, I don't know. That's harder. How do you? Why do we need home? I don't know. That I don't know. What do you
For me,
think?
is
Yeah.
I mean, let me say that I agree completely with about what you said about family.
Yeah.
I agree, and it's related to the home, because for me, when I think about home, is going back to my mom place and having a coffee with her or reading a book there in the sunset.
Sure.
I mean, it's like a mystic way to do things. Like it's different.
Yeah.
So for me, it's yes about being safe, but about having love in that space. And that's why I believe could be difficult to have a home without a family. Is of course it's possible. I don't want to say that it's not possible or whatever, but for me could be difficult to build that kind of experience, kind of sensation, if you are not with someone and related to someone. And of course, I think just to add to the description of family, that take care is one of the main topics or points of having a family. Take care of the other. And as you said, that what is the objective of life is life itself. It reminds me to something that Saint Thomas said, that the gift of the patience is patience itself. It do not give you too much, but it's something. And I totally agree. Actually, just to finish, the question of why have a family and why to have a home and what is the constitution of that home is a question like I would say in Spanish, like a pregunta trampa.
Yeah, sure.
Because it leaves you to have an answer about like in a profit way.
Sure.
What is the purpose to having a family if you spend money, if you struggle with this and that and blah blah blah? But having a family and a home is in another completely logical way, another
it's not the money
way to see life. It's not about having more and it's not about that thing. So yeah, I mean, the question is a bad question. It's a pregunta trampa. But yeah, I really like
but it's
answer.
good. It's interesting because it gives you like this permission to see that life came before the money and life came before this society structure. And so we are just putting this like in this margin of boxes and you need to fill it. But you cannot solve it with those rules. You need to find like the natural ways that our minds or everything is wired like in the original way, and that stays in there. It doesn't matter how much the conditioning of the society tries to change it or rewire it. It's there. You cannot change that initial programming of the mind. And so it's to find, I think my final comment would be to find or be able to, it's again like this sort of balance, to be present, and also to, I mean, of course we are not in that prehistoric way. We still have to pay the bills and we still have to whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just a chore. Just don't put it in like in the first thing in your mind. Like if you put the first thing in your mind like this natural way of living, the other is just like a side quest, you just do it and whatever. It's not like the main point.
It's not the main point.
It's
Absolutely.
not the main point, and it's just like side quest. You do it, whatever, and you can keep going doing it in the
doing the important thing. I agree. I really like it. But yeah, let's finish this.
Sure.
Thank you very much for your time, Leo. Thank you very much to the people watching us for being here once more.
Sure.
And yeah, that's it. We will see you next week.
What's the movie of the next week? What's the
attention
topic?
to our social media, because we are going to ask you about what movie do you want for the next weekend. So yeah, we will have this.
The Instagram and all our social media are the description of this video. So check it out, and we'll be doing a poll this week to pick the next movie.
Yeah, to decide.
Yep, sure. And so we'll see you there, and hopefully you can join us next Sunday, 8 p.m. See you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. See you.